Yeah, it's been a really long time, and many things in my life are different, but I really just miss recording and posting videos about my writing and my reading and all this fun stuff. The truth is that I really want to buy a decent camera because I'm sick and tired of using my crusty ass phone. But I want to record, so I'm going to use my crusty ass phone to tell you some shit that has been happening, some literary shit that has been happening, some cool literary shit that has been happening. Can you tell that I just woke up a little bit ago? Anyway, um, I don't remember when I last posted. I was doing this huge ass vlog about me having this anxiety about getting back to this really big story that I'm writing. And I wanted to do a whole thing about, you know, how insane it is to feel anxious about something that I know I'm going to have fun with, aka writing this story that I love. And I did the whole vlog, and then I started editing and I didn't like it, and I didn't like anything that I was recording, and I just decided to stop. But let me tell you what's been going on in my life. Last year in October, I started doing a really cool training, kind of an apprenticeship in this art that is very traditional in Portugal and kind of not very well known anywhere else. It's called filigree. You can search it. It's really cool. And I did my training. I did an apprenticeship, and now I'm literally a full-time artisan, like working with like the thinnest gold threads to make this beautiful ass shit. And this came about because I really needed a routine. I was going insane without a routine, and I really, really just needed to have my days structured so that I felt kind of hugged by repetition. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I enjoy feeling hugged and comforted by, the expectation that I know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. I hate not knowing what's going to happen or not knowing where I'm supposed to be on a given day. I like having like a specific set of things that I need to do in each day and just carry on from that. Anyway, I needed a routine, and I'd been curious about this thing that is like, it's one of the most important things that my hometown is known for is disrespectful. Someone just turned on their tractor. This is how you know you're in the fucking village. Wait, give me a second. I'm gonna close the window. That is not much better. But anyway, I know that this kind of noise I can probably edit out. Anyway. This is one of the big things my town is known for is filigree. Like the whole of the Portuguese filigree in the whole world, which has become bigger recently because of things. Like the whole of the filigree is made in 2 towns in Portugal, and my town is one of those towns. In fact, my town is the better town because we use the thinner threads. Anyway, currently I'm a literal filigree artisan, which is the coolest fucking thing. I never thought. Do you know that thing where people are like, in your 30s you're gonna have the necessity to quit your corporate career and just go goose farming? I quit the corporate career and I went to become a filigree artisan. Anyway, I feel like I'm living the righteous life. And in the meantime, I've been designing my own collection of silver filigree, which I will start making soon. And back in the year, in February, end of January, my first ever short story was published in an anthology in the Brussels Review. And today, this is when I'm recording, the 1st of August of 2026, my second short story was published in Mount Hope magazine. I'm going to link the stories below if you want to read them. And I am submitting a few other stories because I don't know. I'm writing a lot. I'm writing a lot, which is what I needed. I knew that if I had structure in my life, I would be able to focus, like to completely focus on writing in specific times of the day and of the week. And it fucking worked. And I'm so surprised, but I'm writing so much. It's kind of, the dude in that film, I've never watched it, that animated movie, where he's like, I don't know how to react to this, to getting everything I ever wanted. And then the lady turns to him and the joke about the fish who wants to find the ocean, and he asks for directions and he's told, you are in the ocean, and the fish just answers, no, this is just water. I feel like I'm in the ocean, which is insane because like I don't have barely anything. I only have my ideas and what I'm writing, but the fact that I'm doing it consistently, that I keep having like I describe it as having my brain on fire, because there are so many new things that come to my mind, and there are characters that just start living up there, and it just feels really good. Anyway, that's what's been going on literarily and artistically in my life. And I don't feel like I've been celebrating it a lot. So I thought I'm gonna do a video and I'm gonna post it, and that'll be me celebrating. But yeah, that's it. Oh, let me tell you about all the cool books I've been reading as well this year. I've been having the strangest phase in my life, because when I was younger, I used to read like 30 books a year or something like that. And now I'm reading 6 books a year. So I feel like better times are coming, but let me show you the books that I've been reading this year, which just taste. The first one I don't have here because it's in the other shelf, but it's Heated Rivalry. Okay? It's Heated Rivalry. That's the first year I read this book. That's the first book I read this year. Can you tell that I am losing my English because I've been in Portugal for so long? After Heated Rivalry, I read Jane Eyre. I read false. I was destroyed by Jane Eyre because I knew coming into the book that it wouldn't be a romance, because I went into Wuthering Heights thinking it was a romance because everyone else is a fucking idiot. And when it turned out to be just a horrible story about horrible people, I mean, great story about horrible people, I had no faith for Jane Eyre. And I'm so happy that I didn't go into this thinking it was a romance, because can you imagine what I would feel when I found out that the romantic lead chained his wife in the attic? Anyway, I've loved it. Then I watched the film with Mia Wasikowska. Is that her name? The lady from Alice in Wonderland, whom I watched the film and I really liked it, and it really made me think about how absolutely horrendously hard it is to adapt a book, because my computer is making a weird ass noise. Anyway, I'm gonna have to take the background noise out. It got me thinking about how absolutely insanely hard it is to adapt a book, because the Jane Eyre, the film, felt very bare. It felt so bare, and it was long. It was like 2 hours long. And in this, I thought, I understand why the Lord of the Rings movies are so beloved. I think I get it. I've never really watched them. I tried watching the first one. I fall asleep every time. I mostly just used Lord of the Rings movies as a move to ask someone out, because of all of these nerdy dudes who will like cream in the pants if I say I've never watched Lord of the Rings, But I get it. I get why it is so loved. I mean, they probably did a good job adapting the goddamn book, because I mean, it does take that long. It does take that long. So yeah, all that to say that I really love Jane Eyre, and I'm so happy I finally read this. I've had this book in my collection, in my TBR, for fucking ages. I'm really happy that I read it. It didn't change my life, but it made it a lot better. And I mean, after reading Heated Rivalry, and after the whole, collective mania that we went through, it was a nice stabilizer for me, I guess. And also, I think I've talked about this before, but I grew up on a lot of literary work, a lot of literary authors. I didn't have the childhood of reading Harry Potter and Percy Jackson and stuff like that. So my like default state is to read literary books and classic books. And I really do try to read fantasy, sci-fi, to read like more casually written book. I really do try to read fantasy and sci-fi and stuff like that, but it doesn't really land much with me. I love it on the screen, but in books, it kind of has to be a little literary. On that note, after Jane Eyre, I read Less Than Zero. If you haven't noticed, one of the most popular videos on my channel is the one I made about Donna Tartt and the podcast Once Upon a Time at Pennington, and it's basically about Bret Easton, Ellis, and Donna Tartt and Jonathan Lethem. I've listened to that podcast so many times. I'm currently re-listening to the Secret History audiobook because it's summer and I need to remember that fall exists in the middle of, I don't know, 100 heat waves. But I really wanted to read this, especially for the like narration. It's first person present tense narration. It's a very immediate sort of way to like convey a story, and I wanted to know how that feels. I wanted to feel it as a reader, and I did enjoy the book. It was a decent book, but I understand why people don't like him. I understand why people are like, because that last part with the 12-year-old girl, that's just not the kind of stuff that I like to read. Like, sorry, I have to face violence in real life. I don't want to have to fucking read about it in this way, because it's, I don't know, it's not, it is judging it and it is criticizing it, but in a very male way, I guess. Right after that, I read A Room of One's Own, and I highlighted the shit out of this book. I need to make a whole video just about this one book. I was reading it during my apprenticeship, and I was a little bit disconnected from my writing because I was tired. It was during, I mean, you probably don't know this, but in Portugal during this winter, like this, just earlier this year, we had one of the worst winters in ages. Like there was a cycle, like a group of storms that kept coming one after the other after the other. It's like literally felt like every week there was a new storm, and it did a lot of damage down south. I'm up north in the country, and it was just cold and rainy all the time. And I was in the rain a lot. So I got a bit, I guess, disconnected from everything, and reading this really got me back to that place of, yeah, I mean, I do have a room of my, I do not have inheritance wealth, but I have a room of my own. And I loved reading this. I will probably, maybe when I have the energy, do a whole video about it, just telling you the shit that I highlighted, because that's what I love to do with books. And that's one of the reasons I created this fuck ass channel, is because there was no longer anyone around me. Now there are people around me that I rant to about books. Maybe that's why I also haven't done as many videos. But I love to, when I'm reading a book, just talk about everything that I love about the book and what I highlight and what this author is saying and all this shit. And I always do it to like everyone around me. But I guess at a point in my life, a recent point in my life, I didn't really have anyone to do that with, so I just did that with you. And then I neglected you for a few months, but I will be back to tell you everything I love about this book. Then I read Sea of Tranquility. This was kind of, in part I was interested by it, and in part it was because I might use it as a comparative title when I'm querying. Yes. I love this book. It was wonderful. I might read a lot more stuff from Emily St. John Mandel, and I haven't read Station 11, but I have watched the TV show, and it was just, I really appreciate a voice like this, because I don't know, sometimes I find books that are written today that are contemporary literary, that are contemporary to me, myself, and I. And I don't know, it feels like everyone at times is trying to complicate it so much, to use like this extravagant language to try to convey really complex emotions without actually exploring them. And with stuff like this, it's the way that I learned to love literature is to write it in a way that anyone can understand it, that you can convey complex emotions and difficult situations in a way that is not like meant for the elites to understand, or for people with a degree and a huge vocabulary to understand. I love stuff like this. It's so beautiful in how well it's written that you don't really feel the words, those books that completely turn into story and you no longer feel the arrangement of the words as like something that was strategically done by the author. Anyway, I really love this. And the last book I read, No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. Sorry, I had to burp. This was amazing. This was the first book in a long time that I was reading, and I was telling a colleague of mine, holy fucking shit, you have to hear this. And what really got to me was like the ending of the book. I'm not gonna do a video about it, so whatever, I'll tell you now. If you haven't read this was written in the 1950s, and I mean, I read this man's entire Wikipedia page because it's insane. It's completely insane. Like, these people really do be out there living lives. But this was published in the 50s in Japan and has been recently, like, they did new editions recently. I think this is from the 2010s or something. But there were a bunch of these books were on sale a while ago in like every fucking bookstore. And this is told kind of like, you know how Emily Bronte tells Wuthering Heights by introducing a narrator who is a man who gets hurt on his ankle and has to stay in a house, and then the real narrator is like an old woman. It's kind of like that. The narrator that is introduced is some dude who's a journalist, I think. I don't even remember. But then the real narrator, the person we follow through most of the book, is the main character, the dude who wrote the notebooks about his life. And it's 3 notebooks: childhood, teenage / young adult, and then adult. And we have like a prologue and an epilogue. Kind of the prologue and the epilogue are written by the supposed main narrator, who's a journalist, and then the notebooks are written by the actual person who lived them, which are inspired by Osamu Dazai's life. It's a mess, but really wonderful in a maybe demented way. In a demented way. But what I loved about this book, and I just picked it up. I didn't really have any intention. It was just wanting to read it. But it's so intimate in a way. This is what I love about Asian literature. It is so incredibly intimate. Like, these authors just tell you what is in their heads and what they feel and how the world makes them feel, and they just say things that we don't really say here. And these 3 notebooks are extremely intimate. And he really expresses this sort of like deep emotions, like at the core of one's being, that they were so vulnerable and so hidden. And because of that, they were so relatable to so many people. And it's still like one of the most popular books in Japan, which I found out after searching about it. But what really got to me was the ending, because the last little bit is written by the supposed narrator, like this journalist. And it's the journalist talking to a lady that used to know the main character, and the lady is the one who gives the journalist these notebooks from this main character. And the guy reads them and he goes back to the lady and is like, he was a real piece of shit, huh? And the lady just like, no, he was okay. Like, the problem was his father, but he was really sweet. And I thought it was so funny that all of these perspectives about this one person who, like, this one character that is inspired by Osamu Dazai, all of these perspectives about him are so different. describe such a different opinion about this person, and all of them were written by the person. Osamu Dazai was the one who wrote the journalist who is critical of his actions, and he was also the one who wrote the lady who is empathetic towards him and his life, and he was also the one who wrote the main character who is absolutely extremely judgmental about himself and his role in the world. But the ending of the book is the show of empathy. And I just thought that was so wonderful. And also so sad that he had to write it in a book that maybe he didn't get that empathy from anywhere else. So he wrote a character to be empathetic to his fictional self. Yeah. Anyway, Osamu Dazai published this book. Then he was writing his next one in the middle of it. Him and his then wife or lover or whatever drowned themselves in the river. And I said that at work, and everyone else thought it was really weird that I was reading this. Can't please everyone. And now I'm reading the book that we've all been waiting for years. Theodora's Tea Shop. I came into this book thinking, because I've been reading some reviews online, right? And I ordered it, I pre-ordered it. It came into my house the day it came out. Actually, not my house, but it was delivered the day it came out. And it's a book from a person that I think would write a good story. I've been following this Christy Jones's channel for a very long time. I mean, if you are an aspiring author on YouTube, I feel like you would watch her videos. And I've been waiting for a really long time to see, because the expectation is that it's going to be a really good book, right? The way that she talks about shit, the way that she addresses the audience, everything about her is so wonderful. You can't help but expect a really good book. And I read some reviews online that were a bit not as great, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna go into it with an open mind. I'm not gonna expect anything. And then I started reading it, and it's great. It's a really good book. So the expectation was met. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? A YouTuber, author-tuber put out a book that is actually really good. It's so wonderful. I'm enjoying this tremendously. And I don't really read, as I said, a lot of fantasy and sci-fi. It has to be a decently good book for me to read it. And it is. It's turning out to be a really good book. Anyway, that's what I've been reading, and that's what I've been writing, and that's what has been happening in my life. I don't know when I'm going to post the next video, but when I do, I will see you then. Bye.